Sure. So please, I hope all of us have Excel, right? We have Excel. You've been able to do this. That's positive. That's positive. So I want us to begin, and I want us to pray. Father, we thank you for our lives. I pray that's about to have this session. Maybe successful in just my we pray. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. So.
Amen.
Sure. So for today, these are the things that we are going to be looking at. We are going to be looking at the Excel interface. We need to understand the parts of Excel, the layout, and how things play. Okay. So we are going to look at first the quick access toolbar. We are going to look at the tab, the ribbon, the command group, name box, formula bar, rows and columns, cells. We are going to look at what active cells are, range, worksheet, workbook, zoom control, data entry, and also basic formatting. I believe that some of us will be seeing this as very overwhelming, but trust me, these are the very, very basics of Excel. So I want us to begin, okay, with the quick access toolbar. So please, I hope you can see my mouse pointer, right? Please, can you see my mouse pointer?
Try moving it a little. Okay, yeah, I can see.
Sure, that's positive. So the section where my mouse is moving for the quick access toolbar. And in the quick access toolbar, you can find the name of the Excel file. That is, if you open a new Excel workbook, the default name of the Excel workbook is going to appear there. But here lies the case, I have saved my file as session file 1. So you are going to see the name of the file there. When you come here you will see that there is a redo button there. Redo is when you have entered a command or a formula or any action that you've done, and you've gone back and you want to go back again to whatever you've done. So for example, if let's say I enter something like this, and I enter another thing like this, and I go back, and I say, oh, okay, I think that what I entered initially, it was the right thing, so I want to go back again to that thing. So you just come back here to the redo, and you press it will take it back to it. Normally I don't use that particular redo button. I use the control shortcut, which is Control Y. Okay, so with Excel, if you want to be very good and fast with Excel, you need to be very intentional about your shortcut buttons or shortcut keys. So for redo, what you normally use is Control plus Y. And for undo is Control plus Z. So let's say whatever I entered, that is the start and the end. If I don't want it, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use Control plus Z or the undo button. I'll undo again, and everything that I entered will be gone. So if you've entered a bit of actions or activities and you feel like there is a point where you don't want to continue or you want to go back to the previous action, you just use the undo button, and that's how simple it is. So on the quick access toolbar again, you can find the save button. And the save button, you can also use the Control plus S command to access it. So that is all for the quick access toolbar. There's nothing much there. Then let's go to the tab. So the tab is where my arrow is moving, where you see the file, the home, the insert, draw, layout. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So that is where you see the file, home, insert, draw, and all these tabs have their uses. They are very, very important in Excel. So one of the tabs that you mostly use is the home tab. And that is the default, I would say that is the default position of the tab whenever you open Excel. So when you open Excel, the default tab that will be open is the home tab, and all the tabs have their very, very important use. So when you go to the file tab, that is where you can access information about your Excel file. That is where you can open a new blank workbook, or even open a template of an Excel workbook. You can save, you can do your savers, you can do a lot more with the file. At your home button too, that is where you can enter basic formats of some of the text that you enter. So for instance, if you have, let's say, let me use somebody's name, Bernard, and you want to bolden the text of Bernard, you just come here and click on bold. If you want to italize, italize. If you want to underline, you underline. This you see here is called a border. It's called a border. So if probably you want to give this Bernard text some border, there are several border options here. So let's say all borders. What is that? Is that it gives Bernard an all-round square border. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, we can.
Sure. So this is very important. A table of dates, and you want to separate the headers from the other things, or you want to make some distinctions within some data sets. So that is when you mostly use the borders. So for borders, it's very important when you are dealing with data, especially large volumes of data sets. So the next thing here is the font. There are several fonts in Excel that you can use. So for instance, if you've entered this one and we want to change the font, you feel like the font is not nice, you can come here and just choose the font that you want to choose. And it's as simple as that.
I don't hear anything.
So probably you can't hear anything.
Maybe
Hello?
if you adjust the phone, we can hear.
Sure. I believe everyone can hear you. So please adjust yourself a bit, or your network connectivity, so that you can be able to hear me. So if you want to change any font, if you know the name of the font, maybe I know a name of the font called Poppins. Poppins is not available, so let's say we'll go to not available. So let's see Arial. So whatever font I will type in the font is going to give me font that's available. Hello, please, can you mute your microphones? Sure. So the other thing that we can do to an entry in Excel is the font size. If you want to increase the font size of an entry, you can either come here and enter the font size, or you use the increase font size button, or you decrease it. It's as simple as that. I don't want to waste more time on this one. There's another one also called a fill color. If you feel like you want to fill the cell that is being selected, what you can do is just press the fill color, and the cell will be filled. So when you look at this particular place, that is how I did it. It was a plain cell, or a plain selection of cells, range of cells, but I selected their fill color to be this, and it just came. So if you want to change the fill color, it changes just like that. So nice. That is how Excel is. So the next thing we can go is also, if you want to change the color of the text itself, you can select any color from here and just change it. So mind you, if you are doing these selections, you need to be very particular about your color selections. So you need to have that graphic design eye, because if you make the background green like this and you want to change the font and you make it black, it is not that visible compared to the white. The black does not stand out that much. If you change it to, let's say, a color like this, it doesn't stand out so well compared to the plain white. So in as much as there are a lot of colors available for us to choose, you should be very particular about them. Not all colors can suit whatever you want to do. So when you come to this section as well, what I want us to also know is, I skipped that one. A command group. A command group. So the command groups are the various sections. So let's see, when you look at this clipboard section that I'm moving around, it is a command group. When you look at this text section too, it is a command group. The font. When you look at the alignment command group too, it's another command group. When you look at the number command group, it's another command group. So in every command group, there are similar commands that you can initiate from there. So if you want alignment, any form of alignment, you have to come to the alignment command group and initiate it from there. So let's say we have this text over here, and we say, oh, the way the text is left aligned, we don't like it. We want to make the text center aligned. So all we'll just come here and look at this, and we'll just tap on the center aligned, and it's going to align that for us. These things are very basic, but trust me, they are very important when using Excel. Sometimes when you are going to apply for jobs, especially remote jobs, they will just give you simple tasks like this to do. And if you are fumbling, probably they will be giving you a deadline to present or submit that task. If you're unable to do this, you'll be found wanting. So although they may seem very simple and basic, they are very, very important. So I would not like to go much, I would like to go deep into that. I would like to skip the rest, because the rest that you will see here, they are all formatting styles. Okay. So as you can see, when we select this particular cell and we come to the number command group, you can see that the format of this particular text has been labeled as general. When we enter a number in a different text box, that is cell H7, you can see that it is still referencing that as a text. What you can do is that if you want to, if you want to apply certain formats to certain text or certain inputs or certain data, you need to change the number format of that particular text. For instance, if you want to give this particular text, if you want to give this particular text a dollar symbol, I've selected the Bernard cell. If you want to give it a dollar symbol, it's not going to work because it doesn't recognize it as a number. So when you enter when you tap on the dollar, it's not going to give you anything. But let's come to the 10 and let's give it a dollar sign. Realize that a dollar sign has been inputted over there because Excel has recognized the input over there as a number. So these are very simple things that we need to know. So you can enter a text, but it will be recognized as an alphabet more than a number. So if you are into large data text or data sets, these are some things that you need to look at. So let's go to the name box. Let's go to the name box. Let's go to the name box. Sure. So initially I hid my formula bar, so I've unhidden it so that we can understand what the name box is. So when I select this Bernard cell, when you look at this, where my arrow is hovering around, at the leftmost part of the cell, or at the leftmost part of the worksheet, you can see a cell named G7. A cell named G7. So that is where an active cell name will be located. So if you select any cell, it's going to change. It's going to give you the name of that particular cell. So that is all for the name box. Now the formula bar. So the formula bar is where my mouse pointer is hovering. Say for instance I input another text called Samuel, and I have another text here I have another input here 20, and I want to find the total of these two. So total. This is for illustration's sake. So when you realize that if I select that particular total cell, it gives me the command or the formula that I've inputted in that particular cell. And that is what the formula bar gives us. As the name suggests, formula bar. So if there is any formula or formatting that you've given to that particular cell, it is going to show that formula within the formula bar. And the name box is just going to display the name of that particular cell. So you don't have to necessarily double tap on it to see the formula that is inputted. When you just select the cell, the formula bar is going to display the formula that you have inputted. That was just by the way. So the next thing that we are going to look at is the rows and columns. When I was in JHS, I found it so difficult to identify rows and columns. But what you need to know is that rows are the horizontal sections in a worksheet. So anything horizontal in a worksheet of Excel, they are the rows. They are the rows. So this whole thing that I've selected is a row. It's a row. It's a row. Now with the columns, they are the vertical sections of the worksheet. So when I select this is a whole column, another column, column F, and all that. This shouldn't confuse you. Probably in the beginning to confuse you, but this shouldn't confuse you that much. Now let's go to a cell. A cell is the intersection of a row and a column. So when I select the cell Bernard, it means that I am intersecting, or I've selected an intersection of column G and row 7. And that is how the name of the cell comes about. It is an intersection of a column and a row. And a selected cell is an active cell. So if I have not selected any cell, it's not an active cell because it's not displaying in the name box. Now let's go to range. Range is a selection of a group of cells, be it columns, rows, or their intersections. So when I select something like this, there is a range of cells or range of cells. When I select something like this too, is another range of cells. This is another range of cells. So that is it for the range. Now let's go to worksheet. So worksheet is the single working space or working area within a particular Excel workbook. So this page or workflow we are seeing right now is an Excel worksheet. So the single tabs that we see below here are different worksheets. So in Excel, you can name a worksheet. So let's say this session 1, it wasn't named like this. If you want to rename it, all you can do is double tap it, and you are going to name it. And that is it. I have redo, I have undo. So the name of the worksheet has returned to session 1. So if you want to make any other changes or formats to that particular worksheet, what you can do is you right click on it, then you can see that you can insert a new worksheet, you can delete that worksheet, you can rename the worksheet, you can move or copy the worksheet, you can protect that worksheet, change the tab color of the worksheet, and it's as simple as that. You can even hide the worksheet. So when I hide the worksheet and I want to unhide it, what do? I just right click, and all the hidden worksheets that I've hidden are going to appear here. So I'll select the one that I've hidden as session 1, and it will reappear for me. So these are very important, especially when you are doing data entry, data formatting, and data analytics. Some worksheets you wouldn't want them to be displayed because you are done working with them, and because you are going to do some presentation and all that, you don't want them to see a lot of worksheets below. So you just hide those irrelevant ones and leave the relevant ones. So let's go to zoom control. So now zoom control is also very important. in Excel, because sometimes you would want to lay more emphasis on a particular part of a worksheet. So what you can do for zoom control is that below the Excel worksheet, where my arrow pointer is hovering, you can see that there's a plus section there. It's called a zoom in. If you want to zoom in, you just click it, be tapping it till it ends. So for those of us who have eye problems, we can be using the zoom in and be zooming till we are comfortable. And we can also be zooming out till we are comfortable. So that is it for the zoom. So I think I skipped the workbook. So the workbook is more like an Excel document that contains worksheets. So what you can see here, which contains the lesson worksheets, section 1 worksheets, and the 1 worksheets, are all contained within a workbook. So the section part 1, where my arrow pointer is hovering at the top, is an Excel workbook. Please, are you following?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. This will
Undo and redo.
Yeah, I'm following perfectly.
okay. Please, someone ask me a question.
Ezekiel,
Yes, please.
I can't find the undo and redo and then the save this one. The one you have on you. I can't find it on my own.
You can't find it on yours. So
Yeah.
what you can do is that, I don't know what settings you've done on your Excel worksheet that you can't find it. But then, let me take this from here. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Sure. So is it like how mine is, or is it a different way?
It's a different way.
When you right click, when you click on the last section of the home tab, does it show this way, or it shows in a different way?
It comes always show ribbon. Yeah, it shows this way. Full screen. Show yeah.
Always show ribbon.
Yes.
Okay, but you can't find the redo and the undo.
Yeah.
So now come down here. Look at is your own hide quick access toolbar, or is it show quick access toolbar? Just below the always show ribbon.
It show quick access toolbar.
Does it show hide, or it shows show?
Show.
Show. Then it's supposed to show. Because, but what version of Excel are you using?
I don't know.
We don't know. But don't worry, that is not a very important part of the Excel, because whatever you can do, you can still use the file tab to do it. If you want to redo and undo, as I said, it is Control and Z is for redo. Sorry, for undo. Okay. And Control and Y is for redo. So this is what you're supposed to know. So whenever you want to undo something, just Control Z, redo, Control Y. Exactly. So you don't really have much problems with that. Okay. So I want us to continue. So let's go to data entry. Okay. And I want us to go to this particular worksheet. So this is a data set that contains sales, date, and profit of zones within a particular town. Okay. And if you want to do data entry is very simple. Data entry means entering data. That is all. So if, let's say, Excel Masterclass, that is mine. So Excel Masterclass, let me like that. That's data entry, and you see day 1. That is data entry. Day 2, data entry. Day 3, data entry. So data entry is not anything difficult. Data entry it just means that you are entering data, and that is it. Now, one thing that is very, very important or very, very crucial with regards to Excel is formatting. And today we are going to look at basic formatting. We will not look at the deep formatting. I think we've covered some of this formatting already. But one of the basic formatting tools or types that we have is within the font command group in the home tab. So when we say formatting is not like you are doing something giddy. No. Formatting is simple. Say you have a text like this. So you have a text like this, and you want to bolden the text or that particular input. This is a format. If you want to italize, also a format. Underline, also a format. So formatting is not anything difficult, but there are stages or there are levels of formatting. So these ones are just basic formatting. If you want to create a border around this particular cell, we have a bottom border which will just create a line below it, below the cell. Top border, it will create a line at the top of the border. Left border, same thing. All borders, same thing. If you want thick borders, it's going to create very thick borders around it. Let's compare this to this. So I want to show us something. Sure. So if we have a thick border for this one, this is a very thick border. Let's look at the other border that is available for us. All borders or all outside borders. You realize that the borders that have been provided for here, they are not as thick as this one. So if you feel like this borders is going to be very good for you, you choose it. So when you're dealing with Excel, it's your preference that matters, and also how the data set is going to look like. So now let's just undo all these ones. Now I want us to what you see here. What you see on the left and what you see on the right are the same data sets. But as you can see, the one on the right looks a bit presentable compared to the one on the left. If you show the one on the right to someone, the person will see you as an Excel expert compared to the one on the left. Now, how can we do this? Based on all the things that we've learned. So now, if we want to make the topic or the subject the zone profit and sales like the one on the right, all we will do is select that particular cell. Then we go to bold. Then begin to increase the font like this. Now, what you can see is that the fonts are entering into other cells. So it's like they are laying below other cells. What you can also do is that you can increase the width of the cell or the range of cells so that it can fit in. As I was saying, mind you, this particular cell that I've selected, it is a merged cell. So let me explain what we mean by merged cell. So let's say, for instance, I've entered this. You realize that the Excel Masterclass is eating into the cell F. Now, what is happening is that if you have another data in cell F, look at what is going to happen. You realize that the Excel Masterclass doesn't show fully. one way you can do this is you increase this, or you can merge the cells. So now if you want to merge cells, what you do is that you select the cells that you want to merge, like this. Then you come to the alignment command group. Then you select, do you want to merge in center, or you want to merge and cross, or you want to merge the cells just like that. Now we want to merge the cells. Let's merge the cells. You realize that after merging the cells, the Excel Masterclass is left aligned. It doesn't look nice, so you want to center align it. You just come and center align it. As simple as that. So now let's undo everything and continue what we were doing initially. So now we've been able to bolden and increase the font size of the zone profit and sales. What you want to do next is that we want to is it?
Question.
Okay.
When you merge the cell, I was trying to merge it here, but I was having something on the other cell. When I merged it, it maintained only the one I was having on the left, and then deleted the other one.
Yes, that is how merge cells works. So if you have let's say data here, and you have info here, and you want to merge these two cells, what you are telling Excel is that you want to override that particular cell. So let's merge them. Let's merge them here. So Excel will even give you a prompt that merging cells only keeps the upper left value and discard other values. So when you press OK, it's going to forgo the other cell. So merge cells is mostly use merge cells for topics. If you want to enter a topic or a heading for a particular data set, you use the merge cells. But for merge cells, we don't use them often. Probably most of the time that, as I said, we use merge cells is when you want to input topics or headings in Excel. So that is it for me. I hope you understand.
Yes.
Thank you. So let's go to the next thing I want to do. Now we want to make our other topics look like the ones on the right, the region sales, how it has been boldened, and the background color is more like, I think, ash or light blue or something like that. So what you can do is that, as I said, we learned something earlier called range of cells. If you want to select a range of cells, you select all the cells that you want to apply. Now the first thing that we can do is to bolden. Now we can bolden by Control B, or you select the bolden command on the command group of the font home tab. So now we've selected this. This looks a bit organized compared to the initial one. If you compare, realize that this doesn't look too good. This looks very good, and that is how to be branding your Excel worksheets. That's how you can be branding your Excel worksheet. Now, if you want to add more formats to the heading, we select the same range of cells again. Then we come to the fill color. Then we look for anything that will suit us. Look for this, or this, or this. Then we select. This looks nicer and presentable compared to what we had initially. Now we have sales. We have in the column C, we have the sales column, we have the dates column, we have the profit column. Now what you can see is that it doesn't look presentable at all, because the numbers are too much or too many, and you cannot even tell if it is in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions, or trillions, or billions. One thing that we can do in Excel is that we can change the format of that particular text. So let's say we feel like this number is too much because the decimals behind it doesn't make sense to us. We don't really want to use it. So now, if you want to reduce the decimals of that particular input or that particular number or that particular sales, what you can do is you come to the number command group. You see this tab which says increase decimal. You see another one which says decrease decimal. So you click on the decrease decimal. Realize that it decreases the decimal point by 1, and it rounds the value. When you click decrease again, it reduces again, decrease again, decrease again. Now it has taken away all the decimals. If, let's say, what you did, you like it, and you don't want to come here and do the same thing by pressing this and doing it for the same, all of the inputs. Sometimes this can be very stressful because you are seeing it as just 4 inputs. You may think that, oh, I can just do it like this and I'll be okay. But imagine you having data sets of billions and trillions. You cannot do this for everything, or you cannot do this for every input. One thing that comes very handy in Excel is called the format painter. It's called the format painter. So let's say we have a lot of data sets, and we cannot come to cell C5 and reduce the number of decimal places. Come to cell C6, reduce it again. Come to cell C7, reduce it again. One thing that comes in handy for us, and I want you to pay a very close look at it. You realize that these selected cells that I've selected, they are in decimals, or they have decimal places. Now we want to change it and make it look like the first cell, that is cell C5. What you can do is that we will select that particular cell and come to the clipboard command group and click on format painter. What this does is that it copies every formatting you've done to that particular cell, and it applies it to the cell range that you select. So now let's see, we are selecting these 3 cells. It has done it so nicely for us. So nicely. So imagine we want these cells that I've selected to look like these. What we can do is, we have selected these cells already. Format painter, we come here and select them. So nice. So you realize that whatever format that is given to this as bold and background color as light blue, it has applied here pepper. Now, that is it for format painter, and it's also another form of formatting. So if, let's say, we want to apply the same format to, I want us to apply the same format to the profit. Okay, so now let's format paint, do the same thing exactly. So we have realized that this date, the topic has been labeled date, but you cannot really understand why the date is this way. Now what Excel recognizes this as a number. So if you want to change this to look like an actual date, you select a particular cell, you come to the number command group, you press here, then you select the date. Whether I want a short date or a long date, it's going to change perfectly well for you. So let's say you want a long date. Now, we've spoken about format painter. If you want to, let's say you have a lot of data in all these cells like this, and you want to ensure that all the remaining cells look like the first cell, you select that cell, click on format painter, select the rest of the cells, and it's going to format everything for you. So sweet. And that is the power of format painter. One thing you need to know is that sometimes these format painters, you may not even use them. because they are advanced ways of even making or copying formats. So let's copy the format and apply it to the rest of the cells. Exactly. So let's say for the cells, we want them to look very presentable. We want them to have the accounting symbol, that is the dollar, the euros, and all that. Because probably this, when someone sees this money, the person is going to know that this is even an amount of money. Maybe the only way the person will be able to see it is because it has been labeled as sales. But if you want to make our table more presentable, what you can do is that we'll select a particular cell, then we come here and click on accounting. What accounting does is that, so accounting is different from currency. What accounting does is that it separates the currency symbol from the value. So let's look at currency. This is how currency looks like. You realize that the dollar is attached to the price or the money or the number. But when you select accounting, the dollar is separated from the amount. And in data validation, in data analysis and all that, if you want your table to look very presentable, it is required that you use the accounting format because it makes everything look very presentable. So now let's say you want to copy the accounting format to the other ones. Okay, we will just select the format painter and we apply. You realize that the accounting format has brought back the decimal places. You can select all these cells and just reduce them to how it was. Now, can we see that this looks very nice? Yes. So when let's say you want to copy the same format to the profit, the same thing. Now compare this to what we had initially. What are you going to say? So now I can say we can let's apply some borders here. So let's say we select this whole text and we want to apply some borders. Exactly. So how can will you compare the previous one to this one? You can't compare because this looks very presentable compared to the first one. So formatting in Excel is so important. So important. So important. Now, what I want us to do is that I'll be sharing an Excel file in the group, or I'm going to put it in a link. What you're going to do is that you're going to follow the instructions that I'll be giving. All be found within the Excel sheet. Then you follow from. So what I want us to do is that we should be practicing. You see this as very easy or simple, but it's very important. Please, any question? Please, does anyone have any question so far?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, okay, you already answered it. Sorry. So you spoke about sending the Excel file, right?
Please come again.
Yeah, you said you will be sending the Excel file, yeah?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So please, when I send a file, please make it a point to practice. One thing you should know is that Excel, when you leave it for even 2 or 3 weeks, and you don't practice, and you go back to Excel, it will be like you're opening a new software. You forget everything that you've done. So one thing I do is that once in a while, I just go through my my laptop, find some data sets, and be doing some 1 or 2 things because I don't forget. But if you leave it and you just sit down aloof, you're going to forget everything that you've learned. And trust me, when you learn Excel, there are a lot of job opportunities available for you. You may not understand, but when you get into that space, you understand. So please, let's take it very seriously. And as I said, I'll be sharing the Excel file so that we can all practice. But aside that, please, is there any question that anyone wants to ask? Any questions? Please, can someone screenshot the attendance for me? Can someone screenshot the attendance for me with your phone? If you are using your phone, can you screenshot it for me? If I use your laptop too, let me see if I can screenshot it. If I can screenshot all of them, but is anyone here using his phone for this? If you are, please help me screenshot it. Hey,
it will not come at this one, no. After one shot, so let's if you take one and then you continue the rest later.
Okay, sure. If you can do me, I'll be grateful.
Okay, done.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm thinking about this, that probably our last session will be done in person. I'll find a place around and we'll see if we can have that in person, because sometimes online is not really helpful. In person is very very helpful, and I've been a witness to that. So I'll just see. It's not that I'm imposing that, but to talk about it. If it's going to help all of us, we'll do that. So is there any question? Someone was saying that, please, can you give a summary again, especially at the beginning? Oh, we need you. Especially the beginning. Please, what aspect of what part of the beginning do you want us to explain to you?
See, me, for instance, I didn't join early. So if probably maybe there might be a recording for it so that we might play it after. And as well, the Excel we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So
kindly check your WhatsApp as well. I sent you the screenshots of the attendees as well.
Okay. God bless you so much. Sure. So what we are going to do is that we are going to, I also sent a Google form, what is going to be more like how do you call it? Should I put it? An exam. So the people that are going to be very active and submit all their deliverables and assignments on time and correctly, we'll see if you can give those people the certificate for free. So if you want, and also some mentorship as well, so that if there's anything that you want to do. I'm also a data analyst. I'm just a junior data analyst for now. So if you want to go into data analysis as well, Excel is one thing that you need to really master. I don't know everything about Excel. What I know is what I'm teaching. So if you want to know more, you have to read more. But one thing I've realized is that learning from YouTube is quite difficult, because you may not be able to ask all the questions that you want to ask. So if you have this opportunity, I would advise that you take very good advantage of it, because here we'll be having sessions, and I believe that once a while, or probably the last session will be done in person, so that we can all benefit. So the recording this session is actually recorded. When we are done, let me see, I'll try and share it. I don't know the size of it, but I'll try and share it after this session so that we can all benefit. Please, is there any other question, or is there anything that anyone wants to say? Any general thing, any submission, anything that the person believes that, okay, if I'm able to inculcate into the sessions, it's going to help everybody understand. Anything? Anyone? Okay. It seems everyone is okay. So thank you so much once again, and I hope to see all of us in the next section. Please, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sure. Kobe was saying
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sure, that's positive. Kobe is saying frequent assignment. For assignments, if you be doing it, I have a lot of workbooks that I can share with you. But the problem is that, let me see. So the problem is how I'll be taking the assignments. I don't know how we can do that. But if you are done with your assignments, just share it with me on my Gmail. I think my Gmail will be best, so that when I just open it, I can open directly on my laptop. So I'll share my email as well in the group so that we can all share our assignments and deliverables. And I'll be sharing tips and all that in the group so that whatever thing that you need to know with regards to whatever you've studied, you'll be very conversant with it. So I want someone to pray so that we can close the session for today. Hey, somebody wants to pray?
Okay, Almighty ever living God, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for this section. We thank you for everything you've done for us. We pray that everything we've been taught today will be stuck in our brains, and then we'll be able to practice it. Just in the name of we ask your Son Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Our Muslim brothers and sisters, we are sorry if we didn't add your prayers. Probably next time we'll add your prayers. So I'll be sharing the Excel, but I have to prepare the Excel file first before I can share it. So that I will input all the instructions in the Excel file. So please, when I share something as well, please react so that you encourage me small. If I share in the